Welcome back to the big picture at 10. It's now to turn our attention to our next big spotlight of the day, and that is, of course, the sad demise of one of India's most well-known billionaires, Mr. Brijmohan Lall Munjal. Now, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Rahul Munjal, Managing Director of Hero Future Energies, and the eldest grandson of Mr. Brijmohan Lall Munjal. Thanks so very much, Rahul, for joining us on the big picture. Tell us, throw us some light on his personality, because we know Mr. Munjal, the chairman of Hero MotoCorp, somebody who sort of built the company from scratch. Give us a few anecdotes, help us sort of identify some aspects of his personality which many of the viewers may not be aware of.
Yeah, it's only fitting to talk about him, we used to call him Chairman or Dada Papa. So it's only fitting to talk about Dada Papa as a human being more than what the corporate world saw. So I think let me start by saying something really fun. He was actually a very, very stylish man. I don't know if a lot of people saw that. He had blue eyes. He was a good-looking man. He loved fast cars. In his younger days, he used to love driving from Mumbai to Delhi, and he used to do it in one stretch. Then he used to drive from Ludhiana to Delhi. So much so he used to drive from Ludhiana to Delhi, do his meetings and drive back the same day because of his love for driving. He did it on motorcycles. He's done Ludhiana to Delhi on a motorcycle. So he was actually a fun-loving man and extremely fond of fast cars, bikes, and very, very stylish. That reminds me of a story. In 1958 or so, late 50s, he once went to Germany. And that was one of his first trips to Germany. So when he landed in Germany, the people who had come to pick him up, he got off the flight. He went to look for the people who went to look, who were there to pick him up, and they kept looking for each other, and they couldn't find him. Finally, they both ended up at the counter asking the gentleman there, saying, where is Mr. Lall or Mr. Brijmohan Munjal? And he said, he's the gentleman sitting right next to you. And he turned around, he looked at Mr. Brijmohan Lall Munjal. He said, really? You're an Indian? He said, I thought you were French or Italian. Because, he was standing there in his suited, booted. So he loved life, he loved life. He loved whatever he did.
Right. But what is that one attribute of his, Rahul, that you will remember, that you will cherish? What is that one learning that you have, that you've managed to understand, spending so many years with him? Yeah. I think one of the biggest things was he genuinely cared about what the other person felt. So if he did anything or thought anything or said anything to anybody, regardless who it was, family member, friend, worker, shop floor worker, a dealer, a business partner, he actually first took the time to think how his words or his action would affect the other person before he made that. So I think he was a very sensitive person to other people's feelings. And we saw that today at the cremation ground. I was incidentally walking in front of somebody, and I just overheard a story where this gentleman told another gentleman, he said, I never got a chance to meet Papaji, but I believe he was like a godfather. Anybody ever came to him with a problem, he would make sure it was solved. So he was like that. He cared about people. He genuinely cared. Right, absolutely, Rahul. In fact, that's what we were also mentioning a while ago. The fact that one of the finest tributes that poured in were not necessarily from his family or friends, but from two of his fiercest competitors, Rahul Bajaj and Venu Srinivasan. But tell us a little bit now about the fact that another major achievement of Mr. Munjal was, of course, the amicable settlement that had happened in the family. In fact, you had put it very nicely. You had once said that it's hard running a family. In fact, it's as hard as running a business. So in that sense, now that he's no more, so what's like the road ahead as far as the family settlement that had happened?
No, I think the family settlement has been really amicable. And it goes back to my earlier point. He really genuinely cared about other people and what they thought. So he made sure everything was fair, everything was transparent, and that was his nature. That was his second nature. I'll tell you something about him that I'm not sure a lot of people know this, but so he had bicycle dealers who then he converted them into motorcycle dealers. And now these motorcycle dealers, their kids are also known to him He used to know, okay, whose kid is how old, what are they doing, when are they getting married, when are they settling into work. You know, he's one person who knew everybody by name, be it a dealer, be it a dealer's son. So this loving nature of his, you know, made sure whatever he did was done amicably, be it with the family or be it with Honda.
Right, absolutely. In fact, that's, you know, that's a running thread in his life. But now, you know, I mean, you are one of the examples of how you are, like, you want to, like, you are diversifying. You don't want to be sort of stick to the core business. In that case, what happens now? How do you, you know, how does the family sort of reconcile to the fact that there are many of the younger generations who want to move on? So, I mean, how will this be settled, Rahul?
So, you know, so it's not a new phenomena. This is how the group has grown in the past as well. The idea is, when you get out of college and you have a good idea and you worked in other companies, got some experience, when you're ready and you have a good idea, the family is ready to fund you and grow that idea and take a risk. So, you know, I think going forward, when our families become so large, the only way forward, you know, you can't have everybody running one business. Everybody needs to have an independent business, more so because everybody has independent business interests. You know, everybody doesn't like the same thing. And keeping that in mind, we encourage people to come and start new businesses, come up with their ideas, so they're able to do things that they like, that they want, which are passions for them.
Right. Okay, Rahul, we got to leave it at that. Thank you so very much for joining us on The Big Picture, and please accept our deepest condolences. It's a big loss, not just for your family, but I think for the entire fraternity in the automotive business. Thank you so very much for joining us. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture at 10. Thanks so very much for watching. Good night, and up next on CNBC TV 18 is Earnings Central.